Folks, free agency has been a bit of a bore today. I'm not going to lie to you. Not a lot of big news, even dating back this morning. Of course, we saw Daniel Jones go to the Indianapolis Colts, but who's really celebrating that, especially from the Buffalo Bills side of things? As we know, we ended up signing Darrington Evans. I saw my boy XO put in the chat. He's concerned that it's a sign about James Cook. No, I think he was just signed to potentially be in competition for our kick returner and or our punt returner. And it's funny, and thank God I didn't end up putting him on the thumbnail. But Justin Reed, somebody who I would have been interested in bringing on the Buffalo Bills, is now on the New Orleans Saints. I think my question circulates around absolutely everybody, and y'all will be on the same page as me with this. Where the fuck are they getting all of this money? We know that the New Orleans Saints have been in cap hell for quite some damn time, right? And somehow they end up bringing in Justin Reed, who was interesting when it came into the safety position. But have no fear, folks, because today's episode, what I wanted to do is I want to go through each and every single free agent target that is still available, because I know it's pretty easy to forget who is signed, who has not signed. So luckily I have something right in front of us where we are going to be able to unpack based off of positions of need. So very excited to unpack all of that. As we can see, we have Justin Reed reached an agreement today with the Saints on a 3-year, $31.5 million deal. Where the hell are they getting all this money? I think we need to have a full-scale investigation followed by a feature-length documentary and to figure out how the Saints are still financially alive. All right, because I think that would be must-see content. Anyway, listen, I need to give a giant shout-out to today's sponsor. That just so happens to be BetUS. Folks, BetUS is the #1 sports book on the face of the planet when it comes into everything and anything sports betting. Say, for example, you're interested in taking a look or going in on some NFL draft lines. They have it all over on BetUS, folks. Matching 150% of your first deposit all the way up to $2,000, 125% of your second and your third. Definitely go check it out and use code YouTube150 to gain full access to that. So anyway, I went on ahead and I pulled up the handy dandy spot track to let us know exactly what we are looking for. Now, what I'm going to do, they have all of the signed players right here, but that's boring. What we want to do is we want to be able to look at position groups. And I feel like we saw Justin Reed. He just got signed by the Saints. So now I kind of want to take a look and see who else could potentially be a player that the Buffalo Bills could go after. And with that being said, I have a couple of names that are interesting, something I think you guys would find good. Here are some of the players. We saw that Justin Reed, he ultimately ended up getting nabbed up by the New Orleans Saints. So a possibility. You do have Xavier Woods, 30 years old. Market value for Xavier Woods, we could pull this up real fast for anybody intrigued here, is at about $4.4 million. I suppose that could be an answer for those of you that are absolutely desperate. But I'll tell you who I really like, and somebody who we were targeting last free agency, at least from a Bills fan's perspective. I would also love, folks, if somehow we were able to work a Julian Blackmon contract in for the Buffalo Bills as well. This guy has been a player that we wanted on the team last year when this free agency period was right around the corner. He is still a pending free agent, not unless news broke literally 3 seconds before I said that sentence. But he is also somebody that I would find intriguing. Because remember, yes, we have Cole Bishop. Yes, we have Taylor Rapp. But I think this safety tandem is missing somebody that really excels in coverage. Somebody who has ball skills, somebody who can create some plays, especially against the pass attack. Now, I don't think that it's absolutely necessary, right? I don't think that we need to spend big on a specific safety, but I think Julian Blackmon at 26 years old, 5 years of experience, is honestly a dude that we could really end up utilizing, man. 3 interceptions last year, 4 in 2023. He's obviously on the ascension. So super excited about that. Love Julian Blackmon. Thoughts on this one, but I'd say when it comes into it, folks, I'm going to have to say that my favorite prospect available now obviously was Justin Reed. I think that we're going to have to go Julian Blackmon would be my favorite. I'm good on Quandre Diggs. He's 32 years old. I'm looking at overall like players' age, etc. But now that Justin Reed is gone, I feel like the only answer and the prize of free agency is going to have to be, of course, Julian Blackmon. Blackmon is a great player. He's just a little pricey. Yeah, he's costing for about $8 million, right? So looking back at his contract here, Matthew, we can take a look. That's Xavier Woods. He's cheaper. But Blackmon, who we are going with right now, $8 million, 3-year, $25 million salary value. Let's assume that we only guarantee about half of that, right? Because this market value would be for the totality of said contract. So at about 24 million, we guarantee 10, right? Like we guarantee 10 million with certain escalators, incentives for him to hit to get that full contract. It probably wouldn't really be all that bad, right? Yeah. So a possibility probably wouldn't be as bad as you think, because I do not see us guaranteeing in full the $8 million per year. So Blackmon is certainly interesting to me. Let's see, Dan, and where are we at with older but speedy number 2 wide receiver? We need a guy like Smoke nearing the end of his years, but still really fast field stretcher. Dwayne, that's a great question. I feel like we have to take a look, right? Because as many of us know, we now currently have 2 wide receiver positions open on the Buffalo Bills roster. Now that Matt Collins has signed with the New England Patriots, more than likely how I do not believe we're going to bring back Amari Cooper unless literally nobody wants Amari Cooper and he comes back on a vet minimum deal because he just likes the culture over in Buffalo. We still need 2 wide receivers. I'm still going to say that I think we're going to go into the draft, but it doesn't hurt to take a look, right, Dwayne? It doesn't hurt to take a look. Scrolling down into pending free agents, I mean, damn. Ugh. All right. I think Brandon Cooks could potentially be an option for us. He is a journeyman, right? Cooks is interesting. I think he was a 4.4 back in his prime, but he's old. $5.2 million contract right on the perimeter. So if people are really into it, if you want to roll the dice on Deontay Johnson, who has had a lot of issues in the locker room with his past couple of teams at a 1-year, $3.6 million, then I could potentially interest you in that as well. He's 28 years old, but he ended up having some locker room issues over in Baltimore and then also over in Houston, which is pretty funny. So I'd say that speed is Mike Williams as well. Like maybe you're intrigued in Mike Williams, right? I mean, $4.5 million at a 1-year contract. He's 30 years old. If like you're looking for speed, the problem is that he's made of glass as well. Lockett could be potentially. I'm really not sure on his speed, especially at his age of 33, but he's a 1-year, $7.7 million kind of guy. I'm trying to think who else stands out that I think has the speed that could potentially be on the outside. I mean, nobody else like really is standing out. Maybe Deontay Hardy, if like you want a, you know, so you want a, oh my God, we have somebody coming in here saying a Stephon Diggs reunion. I saw somebody on X doing that earlier, and I was like, you are a brave man. You are a brave man. And we have Josh Reynolds too. But so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go for another wide receiver in free agency. I think that, like we might add a couple of camp bodies, obviously, right? Like after this main period is all said and done. But I think that we'll so we'll go on ahead and like we'll probably address that speedster in the draft if you were to ask me. If not, then I'd probably welcome Brandon Cooks, to be honest with you. He'd probably be my first option. Like say that we absolutely had to. We have Jamison Crowder. Oh man, we have Keenan Allen is the only answer. Peter Lee, man, he's trying to manifest it. I can appreciate that. No questions asked there. But all right, so we have wide receivers, safeties. I think we have all agreed that the best safety would be Julian Blackmon, who would be ideal, at least for the most part. Trying to think. Free agents, I need. Hold on. I'm sitting here making sure that there's no breaking news. You have Reed signed with the Saints. That's the last thing that ended up coming up. Okay, so we're all caught up. Anyway, wide receiver was intriguing, and obviously now we need to look at corner. I feel like all of us know who my favorite potential corner prospect is, and that is Asante Samuel Jr. Some people are saying Danny has tackling issues. However, I will be completely honest with you. His ball skill attributes significantly outweigh sometimes his inability of his tackling issues, right? Like that's half of the reason why I was not much of a fan of Christian Fulton. And people were like, Dan, like, why are you not a Christian Fulton guy? And was largely because like he was allowing up to a 75.5% completion rate to opposing quarterbacks in 2023 and a 65% last year. So his coverage struggled. Although he showed improvement last year, it makes sense. But now, obviously, he's on the Kansas City Chiefs. Asante Samuel Jr. is almost the opposite, where he excels in coverage, but struggles a little bit when it comes into making his tackles. But I'm fine. I'm fine with his ball skills. That is something I feel like I want out of the CB2. Corners. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. CBs, who is available? We have Jonathan Jones, a corner. I think we're all familiar with him. He's 32 years old. He's older than I expected. I'm not going to lie to you. Former New England Patriot, a 2-year, $2.8 million deal. As much as this wouldn't speak to me, right? Like this wouldn't resonate with me, if you will, right? It sounds like something Brandon Beane would do because that is a damn bargain, if you ask me. A Jonathan Jones at $2.8 million for a 1-year deal is not something that I would be excited about. Again, I'm not going to go buy a Jonathan Jones jersey, but it's something I don't know. It smells like Brandon Beane's been interesting. It sounds like Brandon Beane, or at least this is like obviously just an assumption. I feel like he would be interested in Jonathan Jones. I feel like he would be. Jeff Okudah is also interesting, right? A bust. He's definitely had some issues. He had a lot of hype, a lot of pre-draft hype going into it, but Houston is walking away from him. A 2-year, $5 million deal. Maybe Brandon Beane and maybe Sean McDermott have confidence that they can get him playing at a super high level. You have Kendall Fuller from Miami. I'm going to pass on this. You have Rasul Douglas. Probably not. Stephon Gilmore, perhaps, is an answer for us as well, right? At 34 years old, I mean, maybe he's still playing at a high level. Who knows at this point? I'm good on Ronald Darby. I definitely don't want a reunion. Like, he hasn't had an interception in like 5-6 years. Who are some other corners that are interesting to me? It's obviously, we all know that I'm a big Asante Samuel Jr. fan. He's the biggest one that I am looking for. It's just a matter of when he ends up getting picked up / signed. So Asante Samuel Jr. is interesting too. So that's it. Let's go ahead and take secondary is what I did. That's why. Corner. Talk to me about the corners, baby. Where's my boy Asante Samuel Jr. at? There he is. LA Chargers, 25 years old. Talk to me, Asante. He's $11.5 million a year. $45 million. That's not bad. That's not bad. Hey, Dan, and did you see that Leonard Floyd just got released? I did, Shane, but unfortunately, as fast as it happened, he just signed with the Atlanta Falcons. He just signed with the Atlanta Falcons, unfortunately. He was literally a pending free agent for what seemed to be 5 minutes, and the Falcons have already picked him up. I would have welcomed the idea of bringing back that guy, but unfortunately, that's just kind of where we're at right now. So we have that situation right there, corner. Let me see what we got. So we have to draft 6 Pro Bowlers now. Benny Nutt's 16. I mean, hey, listen, we definitely need to hit on the draft this year for a variety of different reasons. Please tell me what you think Bean is thinking signing Darrington Evans. Depth. Does he plan to release Ty? I need an explanation, Dan. It's a great question. Likelihood, he's thinking about revamping the overall special teams unit. Keep in mind, right? Like, yes, we do still have Cordington. I believe he's still under contract, right? But keep in mind that we just ended up getting a new special teams coach. So maybe this special teams coach really likes Darrington Evans. And maybe he wants him to be our returner this year. And he doesn't think that Cordington fits what he's trying to do. That's obviously me just reaching, but I think it makes sense. I think he was brought in for competition. And trust me, it is not a pricey contract, folks. All right. Like, this guy has been truly a journeyman. He was on 4 teams in 2023 and the Buffalo Bills practice squad including. So, yeah. So my only guess is that he brought him in because our new special teams coach was interested in seeing what he had to offer. Because maybe our new special teams coach is just in love with him and he needs him to be the guy that is returning footballs. And so that's really like my only guess, because as many of us are talking about right in the chat right now, I was also a massive Cordington guy, like zero questions asked. All right, guys, 591 of you in here already, 237 of you on YouTube. Please do me a favor, smash that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. All right, so next up, have to look at available edge rushers, right? Because this Buffalo Bills team still needs to potentially bring somebody in, okay? Who's intriguing? I'm good on Matthew Judon. I am good on DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm trying to think if we can find anything else. I like Omenahu from Kansas City. I do like Omenahu. He is potential. Hold on now. Charles Omenahu. Okay? Let me see what kind of production this man put up. In 2024, he didn't play a lot of games. He came back on November 29th, only had 1 sack. He was coming off of an injury. Let me see career stats real fast. Career stats 2024. Let me see. Career stats. Let me see. I'm trying to see some of the basic numbers that jump out to us real fast. He has a career 19.5 sacks. He's been around the league for a little bit. His best season was in Kansas City 2 years ago where he had 7. He's still 27 years old. So Charles Omenahu could potentially be somebody that Bean would target. Potentially. Like, we go on ahead, we scroll down here. He'd be $11.8 million a year at 4 years. So never mind. I think that yeah, never mind. I feel like I'm speaking too soon at this point. We had somebody saying, why the Darrington Evans? So I'll be honest with you, Jeff, I have no idea. My gut feeling or my guess is that they wanted to bring in competition for the returner role, perhaps, right? So we do have a brand new special teams coach. So maybe that was a request from our new special teams coach. I don't know. It's not like it was a lot of money. And I don't think it has anything to do with James Cook, but I could be going crazy. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Don't bullshit me. Holy shit. Holy shit. Fake news, fool. Fake news. Who's fake news in it in here? Who's fake news in it in here? Michael, listen, man. Listen, bro. There's no fake news in the chat. All right? Listen, that's 1 strike. There's 2 strikes, or otherwise you're being put in timeout. You're being put in timeout. Asante Samuel Jr. Come on. Let me double check. And before I scold you, it's believed that, okay, It's believed that the Bills are close to finalizing a multi-year deal with cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., that it's only a matter of time before it's made official, blah, blah, blah. I don't trust that source that said that, though. I don't trust that source that said that. Is Vaughn still good for the Bills or not? He was released. So Bean's dismal garbage drafts year after year as free agency bums. We're all watching Allen's prime go down the toilet. Donnie's had enough, man. Donnie, come on, Donnie. Don't BS me. Yeah, guys. No fake news in here, please. No fake news in the chat. We have a 2-strike system over here for fake news. All right? At least make it dramatic, crispy. Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. Don't make me take off my belt, Michael. Vaughn is gone. He is good. We have Remington coming in saying, shut the F up. Oh, man, guys, people do not like fake news over here. Listen, bro, you really upset a lot of people about this fake news. Me too, bro. Michael is saying, sorry, fam. I just want him so bad, or I would love Trey, my fault, dead. No. Hey, man, listen, I will allow it. It's fine to joke around every now and again. Fake news is going to get timed out. Yes, most definitely. Timed out, folks. Timed out. A brief timeout. Who should the Bills re-sign right now? I would like Ty Johnson to come back. Like, that would be interesting. A new fullback would also be intriguing, right? Like Reggie Gilliam. I saw that Kyle Juszczyk was released. Hey, guys, listen, it's okay. Don't make me stick my 12-inch foot where the sun don't shine. Yes, most definitely. My mods are ruthless, folks. Are absolutely ruthless. I saw that the Panthers signed Sam Martin. Indeed, folks. Our farm organization. And Sam Martin got called down to the bigs, right? Sam Martin got called down to AAA, folks. Is James Cook a free agent next year? Yes. So as far as pending free agents, we have James Cook and Christian Benford are set to be pending free agents. So is Connor McGovern. So McGovern might even potentially be an extension candidate at some point. Or a re-sign right before it's all said and done. And Kyle could be a great block fullback. Yeah. I mean, hey. I just realized that Hoyt and Palmer are Canadians. Bills have yet to sign an American player. And we're probably going to have to pay a significant tariff as well. I'm just kidding. Funny joke. How about a coach that can actually beat Reed in the playoffs? I mean, listen, dude, let me tell you what, Whiskey. It's pretty tough to find a coach out there that can, right? It's pretty tough to find a coach out there that can. Not many have succeeded. And so, of course, outside of Belichick and Sirianni and Zach Taylor on a complete accident. Trey Hendrickson is at One Bills Drive, the Troll Toll. Thank you, the W. Thank you, the W. I appreciate that. Philip Lopez became a YouTube member. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. What's up, Dan? Go Bills. Cameron, hope all is well. We have Justin Reed signed with the Saints. We did see that, unfortunately. But, okay, so right after I was ruthlessly distracted, now we need to look at some potential edge rushers that could be sort of on the target list for us. So we already talked about the Charles Omenihu. He's like a best case scenario, like a 7-sack kind of guy. He's younger, though. He's 27, which is ideal. So he still has a little bit of gas in the tank. So I could potentially see the Bills going after a guy like this. I'm trying to think. Not Dietrich Wise. Not John Kaminsky. Chasen at 25. This dude was the hype of the draft a couple of years ago, right? Like, this dude was the hype of the draft for a long time. But his career didn't ultimately end up turning out the way that we had hoped. Or at least a lot of people thought that he would have, right? Let's go ahead and understand. Kalavion, Chasen. Let's see. Career stats for Kalavion Chasen. Because I do remember that he was pretty hyped up during the draft process. And based off of his market value, I'm going to go on ahead and assume that hasn't necessarily lived up to The hype. 3 games started in his rookie season, 8 out of 15. So he was just benched, right? 0 games started in Jacksonville in 2023 out of 17 games. 15 games available for Las Vegas, only started 4. Had 5 sacks afterwards. So turns out the guy's probably a bit of a bust. I'm going to take a look and see what his like market value would be at this point. It's like $3 million if we wanted to. If we wanted to go on ahead and really roll the dice on somebody that just sucks. I thought the Raiders were trying to re-sign him. I haven't seen anything official as of yet. Get ready for an oddball signing, Classic Bean. If there is any oddball signing by Brandon Bean, it's more than likely going to be like a Jonathan Jones. I'm just coming online. We sign anyone in Buffalo, boys? No, we are sitting here waiting and praying that perhaps we could find something here. Okay. A new backup for Kyler Murray. This is what we got as far as breaking news. We have Jacoby Brissett plans to sign with the Cardinals, and Arizona's new QB2 has 53 career starts. Not a bad sign up. 4-time All-Pro punter Johnny Hecker reached agreement today on a fully guaranteed 1-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. Veteran tight end Robert Tonyan signed with the Chiefs. Oh, wow, bro. You know that he's about to absolutely have a go-off year. Panthers signed Sam Martin down to the farm organization, boys. Get ready for an oddball signing. Who else is pissed about Highlands going or Mac Hollins going to New England? I mean, I really don't care. And so to be honest with you, dude was definitely a locker room addition for us, but like as far as his production could very easily be replaced. Kristen Juszczyk styling Haley if Kyles comes to Buffalo. Who else is pissed about Hollins going to New England? I'm good. Per source, a James Cook extension is Bill's last priority. Who else is pissed about Hollins going to New England, and what's the deal with Cook? So I'm not particularly upset. So with Mac Hollins, I'm not. And then as far as James Cook, if I'm a gambling man, it's just not going to happen this year, and he's going to have to play on his final year of his rookie deal. I wouldn't be pissed, say that he ended up getting it. And so I wouldn't be pissed to say that he could come back potentially, but I just don't think I just don't think that he's going to get a contract at this point. What key moves should the Buffalo Bills make in the offseason to improve their roster and contend for a Super Bowl? Just get average in stopping third down conversions. So we are ranked 27th in the league for stopping third down conversions. Just get us at number 15. Just improve our defense enough to where we're middle of the pack in stopping third down conversions and allow us to get middle of the pack when it comes into getting the quarterback. Because all of those stats were toward bottom of the league as far as pressure rate. Get that to the middle of the pack for me. It's not that much to ask for. And that's honestly what I think. It's just a slight improvement right within those two metrics. And I feel like we'll be okay. We have players change teams every year. Snitching changes nothing. Yeah, for sure. I wasn't like too heartbroken about Hollins leaving. Solid locker room guy, but again, that production can be replaced. It can definitely be replaced. Go Bills, but why New England and the team I hate most? So one thing I always like to tell people is that so the Buffalo Bills, 2 Bills players is nothing but a job, right? It's nothing but a career. And so to them, right? It's very similar to how you look at your job, right? Like say, for example, you have a contract with your current employer and then your contract runs out. And then you have another employer that's willing to pay you a significant amount more of money to come to. It's no change, right? Like that's like a pretty key difference. And something I always like to point out is that like most of these players don't have any loyalty to any particular team and or city. because it's their job, right? And they're always going to go for the better opportunity that's best for their family, right? So I've never really held it against any player that decided to go to a different team, whether or not that it was a divisional rival or whether or not that it was a team that we absolutely hated. Because at the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills is just an employment opportunity for these players. So that's why I've never really held it against anybody for going elsewhere. Rico Dowdle is, if so, he is pretty good running back. Possibly we could trade James Cook for him, or if they don't accept. I mean, interesting, man. Jeffrey is coming in saying Mac Hollins is no Justin Jefferson. He is one of the easiest to replace. I think they did fine with the pickup of our new wide receiver, someone who's different and can create vertical separation. So I really think when it comes into Mac Hollins, like he was signed to be a special teams contributor. And when Keon Coleman ended up going down, that's when he started seeing a larger role within the team. I don't think that we would have seen the Mac Hollins hype if Keon Coleman did not go down, but solid special teams contributor. And so I loved his pregame outfits. And so I thought he was funny. But again, I really think that his production could be replaced. And quite frankly, I'm glad the Buffalo Bills did not match the contract that New England ended up giving to him. That's kind of where I'm at here. Bishop is gonna step up this year. I hope so, man. I hope so. I am excited about Palmer, no doubt. He has a lot of upside. Has a lot of upside. I'm very excited to see what he turns into in this league as well. And do you think we still need 2 to 3 wide receivers? So we typically run with 6 wide receivers on each and every single roster, each and every single year. Right now, we only have 4 that are considered starters. And that is Shakir, that's Curtis Samuel, that is Keon Coleman, and that is also Joshua Palmer. We have a couple of guys that were on the practice squad last year that I suppose have an opportunity of fighting for that 6th spot and or 5th spot, but I don't think we're done. So I think we're still going to be looking at the drafts. And now I think with having those 2 open spaces, I think that we're going to draft a wide receiver a bit higher than initially anticipated. It just depends who falls to the board. It depends how the board falls. And so we've had 5 wide receivers in the past, a few seasons, I believe. Very, very true. Very, very true. That is also an option. That is also an option. Especially the way that Joe Brady likes to call offense. Like, I mean, it's definitely a run first sort of offense, really. Is there any news on Cooper? I feel like he wants to stay. He's still unsigned, right? But like his market value, and granted, that is not the etched in stone how much a team is going to pay for him, right? But I think last time I checked on Spot Track, he was going for like 18 M's a year for like a 2-year deal. I probably wouldn't want to pay that, right? So I would welcome back Amari Cooper if like nobody's interested in bringing him in and like we bring him in on a team friendly deal. But I still think a team is going to pay him, right? Especially the New England Patriots. Like there's rumors right now that they tried offering Chris Godwin a lot of money to come and play for the New England Patriots, and he elected to stay in Tampa Bay for less money. So there are currently like 3 wide receivers still on the block that I think that New England is going to attempt to bring in. One is Stephon Diggs, who's still injured, by the way. He's probably not even going to be able to play until week 4, week 5, based off of his ACL. One is Keenan Allen, and then 3 is going to be Amari Cooper. So those 3, I think, potentially could be on said team. It's just a matter of when. I think we can confidently rule out any sort of comp pick next year. I agree. Ryan Reed, and do you think the Bills might trade up a few spots to get the player they want or trade down for more picks? It's hard to predict, right? It's very, very hard to predict. I think we're more likely to trade down than trade up. And I think that at pick 30, say that I was in charge, obviously I am not, that there's really only 5 players in order that I would pick at 30. And only 2 of the players that I would trade up for. 1 is Kenneth Grant and 2 is Derek Harmon. And I'm not saying that I would trade up 10 spots to grab one of these guys. But if there's murmurs that a team that's picking at 26, for example, is getting Derek Harmon or Kenneth Grant, I suppose I wouldn't be pissed at that. But at 30, like here is like my draft board as far as priority. If Kenneth Grant is sitting there at pick 30, he's my number one. If Grant is not there, then next it's Derek Harmon. If both of them are not there, then where I want to go would be Emin Wari and the safety out of South Carolina. He is a prospect, dude. He is a damn prospect. He is like a Kyle Hamilton. Um, insane prospect. If all three of them are not there and Matthew Golden somehow is there, then I'm taking Matthew Golden. It's a wide receiver out of Texas. If all four of those guys aren't there, maybe I'd go Tyleik Williams at 30. Maybe. But there's still a part of me that feels like I'd feel a bit more comfortable if we waited for the second for him. So if all five of those names aren't there at 30, which I think one of them will be, then I would probably want to trade down and find a way to grab a third round pick because we currently don't have one. The real Dan Mitchell Patreon page on Blue Sky was pretty easy to hack into. Says the Bills are in talks with Antonio Brown. No, dude, did somebody make a Blue Sky account for me? Let me see. Is somebody pretending to be me? Let me see. I gotta see. All right, man. All right, man. Nobody has made his own account. The Nick Eminwari, dude. Listen, man. He is a prospect of the year. Okay. So if you were the money man from the Buffalo Bills and were in charge of making deals, what would you be your ideal team and who would you bring to achieve bringing home a Lombardi trophy? Okay, if I was the money man right now, okay, first off, I would send over one of our second round picks and AJ Epinesa right over to the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe a fourth round pick for Trey Hendrickson. I would give him a deal that's probably around 30 M's a year for a 3 to 4 year contract. So I would go for a Trey Hendrickson trade. That would be move number one for me. So now we have a first and a second round pick, one of which went over to the Cincinnati Bengals. Then afterwards, I probably wouldn't do many more free agency signings, not unless it's real bargain bin players, like 1 year deals with a lot of incentives tied to it that don't go against the cap specifically. First round pick, I would hope that Kenneth Grant and I would hope that Derek Harmon were available at 30. If not, I would trade down and grab an additional second round. Then what I would do is I would grab Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle. Following pick in the second round, I would go Maxwell Hairston, the corner out of Kentucky. Third round pick, I would go for an Isaiah Bond and or a Jalen Royals at the wide receiver position. And then the fourth and the fifth round pick, I'd probably look for a Billy Bowman Jr. safety out of Oklahoma, who I think would be able to fit into this defense very well. And then afterward, just depth out, dude. Like depth out. So that's what I would do, man. But then again, there's a reason why I am not the money man over here. Yo, Dan, what's up? Bills need to go after a solid corner and a safety. So I think when it comes down into it, as far as big spend, I feel like we're like realistically only on pace to grab one more. And by big spend, I'm not talking insane, but let's see. Okay. So the Panthers deal a versatile offensive lineman, Brady Christensen, is for a 1 year and 2.7 fully guaranteed. Ian Rappaport. And the Chiefs signed Robert Tonyan and linebacker Cole Christensen. Punter news. Saw that he signed for the Panthers. I got excited that we were going to be seeing some stuff here. Didn't see any additional news here. Interesting. That is interesting. All right. Dan, do you think we can draft Landon Jackson and Matthew Golden because it is projected for Jackson to go in the second round? Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Say that he falls to us. I would be fine with those prospects. Safety out of Miami is gone, so we need to draft a free safety. Yeah. So like I said, so you have the upper echelon guys like Xavier Watts, like Nick Emenwari, and then also Malachi Starks. Those are the top echelon guys. I'd say Xavier Watts is probably going to be early second. I think Malachi Starks and Emenwari will be late first. Um, that's it. Your Leonard Floyd excitement lasted about 47 seconds. He signed quickly. Indeed. Indeed. It's funny because somebody in the chat came in when I first started and they said, Dan, how would you feel about bringing back Leonard Floyd? And I said, well, you know what? I was super on board with it for about 2 minutes until the Atlanta Falcons nabbed him up immediately. It's almost like he knew it was coming and he already had that locked and loaded, ready to go. 285 of you are in here right now, folks. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Trade up to 22 with the Chargers and take their third round pick in exchange for 30 and 62. Derek Cunningham. I'm ready for that. Hey, what's up? So I was in a stream a few days ago. As Pakistan, unhappy about our free agent signing, but I want Devontae back for 1 to 2 years. All right, so I'm pretty sure you're a Jets guy. Ugh, man, what's going on? First off, man, I appreciate you tuning in. Sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry. And so I meant Packers. I'm sorry. Lotto Money, what's up? As a Packers fan, I'm unhappy about our free agent signing, but I wanted Devontae back for 1 to 2 years. At first, you were like, it's as a Pakistani. I was like, okay. I'm trying to think about where you're going with that, but cool, man, cool. Yeah, most definitely. I feel like the Packers will be okay. I am happy with our signings. Hey, dude, listen, let's talk about it. Cook for Parsons. Trade up for Travis Hunter. Oh man, hey, dude, he's the draft darling over there. That's for sure. And the Saints Ponzi scheme goes on for another offseason. I still feel like all of us need to start having the conversation. Like, this is a great sort of discussion topic. Where the hell are these fools getting all their money? Where the hell are the Saints getting money? I want us to draft Matthew Golden so bad. I mean, listen, you heard it from the man himself, Khalil Shakir. He could. And Packers way overpaid for Aaron Banks. He is buns. Uh-oh. So my good friend Jesse. And shout out to my Packers fan. And shout out to my Pakistani fan over here, dude. He does not like your Aaron Banks signing, my friend. Look at that. We have plenty. We have a pretty hard schedule this year. And say we pick up Devontae Super Bowl time. Unfortunately, he signed for the LA Rams for 2 years. Imagine Stephon Diggs on his knees begging to come back. Ugh. Oh, my God. And the Dolphins are going to win the division. Here we go. We have Dwayne. Dan, let's go back and talk Floyd. He did have 8.5 sacks last year. So unfortunately, Dwayne, I was pumped about Floyd, but the problem is that when he was released, it lasted about 6 seconds, and he just signed with the Atlanta Falcons. I was down with it because number one, like, we could have very easily given him some sort of incentivized contract deal. I would have welcomed that back with open arms. Like, that's production. But like, that dude signed in 3 seconds after being released. Absolutely insane. Let's not draft a wide receiver round 1. Ew, Stephon Dot is not a fan of this potentially. TD done sent his delusion to your chat, XL, but wait, and I did not know that, and so I feel dumb, and Aaron Banks' contract is way different. If you actually look into it, it's not just love this guy. Which position should the Bills prioritize in free agency and the draft? What salary cap moves can the Bills make to free up space for key signings? What positions should Bills prioritize in free agency and in the drafts? So I definitely have interior defensive line. I have edge rusher, safety, CB2. Um, do me a favor and double dip on interior defensive line as well. But double dip at the one tech position for me. Give me some youth and figure it out from the interior. I just ran a mock draft with the trade up scenario with the Chargers. Derek Harmon, Xavier Watts, Royals, Ashton Jalot, and Kobe Bryant. Harmon, Xavier Watts, Jalen Royals, Ashton Jalot, Kobe Bryant as the corner. Damn. I mean, hey, brother. I'm fine with that. Zach Milfson is going to lead Miami to the promised land. I mean, dude, listen, I have a really hard time like being able to tell you guys and look you in the eyes who is the best quarterback in the Miami Dolphins right now. It's very difficult for me. It's very difficult for me, folks. Hold up. Have to fire over an email to Richie. Fire over an email to Richie, man. We have all of our roundtable shows running this evening. Put it in Slack. My bad, peeps. All right. And so Miami is going to finish in last place. And so a healthy Tua is top 5. I feel like you don't even believe that, bro. Rick Christian is saying, when do we play the Eagles? I don't know. The schedule should be coming out as far as specific dates. But we will see. Was somebody booted from the chat? So Roy's coming in here and saying bye to somebody. So is somebody booted in the chat for fake news or something? So I have no idea what happened. All right, chat, hold up. So I wasn't caught up with the sightings and wasn't trying to be funny. Yeah, I have no idea what happened. XO put, if anything, it's Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins in that order. Bills win the division. Pats put up a fight, and Jets will still be adjusting. I don't know what Miami is doing. I feel so Miami is probably the best example of the most significant regression we have seen in the AFC East as far as off-season moves are concerned. So I have them finishing in the basement. Get Tyreek Hill. Oh, man. No one was booted. Was just responding to someone complaining that they weren't being responded to. Couldn't help myself. I am sorry, my good friend. I am so sorry about that, man. Listen, I try to get to every single comment. No disrespect your way, brother. No disrespect your way, bro. Tell Tyler T Sports that statement about the Dolphins. So I really don't talk to that kid. He's a nice kid, but I really don't talk to him. Tyreek is going to want out after this season. I'm surprised he doesn't want out right now. Let me see. And do you believe that our run defense was ranked 27th due to our defensive line, defensive schemes, or both? Do you believe that our run defense was ranked 27th due to our defensive line, our defensive schemes, or both? So that's a great question, Deshaun. So I think it really depends on who you ask. I feel like it really depends on who you ask. Some people, like some of the more positive Buffalo Bills fans, will point out that second half run defense typically was a hell of a lot better than first half run defense. And they're trying to let you know or trying to convince you that this Buffalo Bills team almost allowed these teams to run on them so that they could get a good understanding of what their offensive game plan was going to be in 2024. And several games suggested that that was the case because we were seeing several games where the Bills were just getting ran all over in the first half, but then the adjustments that were made in the second almost completely took that game plan out of the equation. Some people believe that. I just so happen to be on board with it as well. 27th as far as run defense, sure. I think you could probably say that there was a bit like of an issue specifically with the interior, but it did get significantly better when we brought back in Quentin Jefferson and Jordan Phillips as the one tech um, rotating out within the defensive line. When the Buffalo Bills committed to the run, we were able to commit to the run, right? But unfortunately, we couldn't always do that because we had some key injuries on some players that were in the secondary and or in the linebacker room, right? Like several games where like maybe we had Bernard out, several games where Taron Johnson was not out there either. So we couldn't particularly commit exclusively to the run because we would have like Cam Lewis out there as our slot corner getting absolutely cooked, like one of the two. So I feel like it was a problem of lack of depth because sometimes like when you see the Buffalo Bills, it's funny because really ironically, like when you look at games last year where the Bills got absolutely fucking gashed on the ground, almost every single one of those scenarios was when we had a key missing player in our secondary. Almost every single game. Like where you look at, oh my God, like this player right here, dude. Like back when Derrick Henry went off for 200 against us, we had Taron Johnson missing, you had Terrell Bernard missing, and you had Taylor Rapp missing, right? Um, a lot of games where like we were just getting gashed by the run. 9 times out of 10, we had a pretty significant missing piece on our secondary. Um, so that's my theory. So ironically enough, I think it's actually lack of secondary depth was half of the reason why we couldn't stop the run. Basically. Basically. We have B Tapscott saying most offenses had to convert to long passes to catch up or short clock after turnovers in the first half. We have somebody in here that's really just trying to get a reaction out of somebody. Um, he's saying Bills are stupid for extending Josh Allen. So I definitely wouldn't say that because number one, he is the reigning MVP of the league. And he ended up proving that regardless of who is on his supporting cast, he can lead them as far as the AFC Championship. He can lead them to the highest scoring offense, points per game with the receiving core that he had last year. So I know you're just putting this in here to get a reaction out of somebody, but it's not working. It's not working. We have Hoyt is there to help seal the edges. Must running will be forced up the gut against the Buffalo Bills this year. He is a tremendous run blocker, that is for sure. I can't believe anyone can genuinely be that stupid, but maybe I'm being proven wrong. Derek is saying, Dan, let's boot these trolls. Yeah. So I love mocking them though. Keep them in here. Okay, Dan. At this point, and so you're more optimistic now with the Bills than this time last year, 110%. 110%, right? Like last year, so I was trying to manifest optimism last year, right? I did believe that we could get it done because I had that much faith in Josh Allen, but I would be lying to you if in the back of my head I was a bit nervous of the adjustment period for the Bills. Like losing out on Diggs, like losing out on Gabe Davis, like losing out on some of our secondary players, Hyde, Poyer, etc. was still optimistic, but I was not anticipating us to have the best record we've had in 20 plus years, most statistically efficient offense in Buffalo Bills history. And us ultimately ending up going to the AFC Championship with a squad that everyone thought that we would be rebuilding with, right? So I think this Buffalo Bills team kind of proved that we have some young and upcoming coordinators that can bring the best out of just about anybody. And I feel like some of the fixes that we need to establish, Roy, is not even so much to bring us into the top 10 of the league, right? I think there's two categories on this defense that need significant help. And that's us stopping third down conversions. I think we are ranked 27th, 28th there. And then also run defense, I would say a more consistent run defense. I'm not even suggesting that I want us to make moves that help us get into the top 5 there, right? I want us to make moves that can get us slightly above average. If next year, we are 14th ranked in the league for stopping third down conversions, that's a win in my book. And that's genuinely all I think that we need to do to get over the hump. Because we have no problem putting up 30 plus points. We don't. Problem is that so we have lack of depth on the defensive side of the football, and we can't stop third down conversions to save our damn lives. And in my opinion, I think we need somebody that can consistently get to the quarterback. Just give me somebody that can consistently get to the quarterback, in turn helping us out with stopping third down conversions, and we are in good shape. So that's kind of my 2 cents there. JS Tito, I asked Dan during the playoffs, too, what his excuse would be for Josh Allen's failure this year, and he said, I wear a SpongeBob shirt, and never responded after another obvious year of failure. I'm sure you're still wearing that SpongeBob shirt, JS Tito. JS Titties is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. JS Titties. Hey, Dan, and do you think we get Samuel Jr.? I hope so. You have no idea. I really, really hope so. One brick. I have been out of the mix. What about James Cook? So I think going into the season, really with all of our guys that were due, new contracts or were up for a potential extension, we had to make some difficult decisions. And we ultimately ended up choosing Bernard. We chose Shakir, and we chose Rousseau. And then we chose Josh Allen because we wanted to be able to make sure that he got his. Because if not, say that we waited until next year, then guess what? His contract would have been about $75 million, I'd say, per year. That's at least where I think this quarterback market is trending. So that leaves Benford and James Cook right on the table, where I genuinely believe both of them are probably going to play on their final year of their rookie deal. Hopefully, we can lock them down right before free agency begins next year, or we're just going to have to walk them out. Or we are just going to have to walk them out at the end of the day. Finn's Rule saying, on the Miami Dolphins signing of James Daniels, torn Achilles plus 300 pounds, recipe for disaster. Greer never learns. Ugh. Good God, man. Greer, Chris Greer. How does he have a job, folks? How does he have a job? That's the question. That's the question I feel like we all need to understand. Let me see what else the homie's got to say. So do you still think we take a defensive tackle first round? I hope so. And by saying I hope so, I hope 2 specific players are available at 30. That's either Kenneth Grant or Derek Harmon. I would be thrilled. If both of them are not there, then I would be fine waiting until the second round to grab Tyleek Williams. And there's a Jordan Phillips as well. Not our Jordan Phillips, but a different Jordan Phillips, who I think would be a pretty good fit. Pick 30 has to be BPA, or best player available. Forget positional value. If there is a dog on the board who fell, get dogs in the team. Make it work roster-wise. I love that. Inject it in my veins. Dan, I am about to time out the troll. Time them out. Which troll are we talking about? A block function works well on trolls. So, I mean, honestly, man, I do try to tell people that, especially during the season and during my live play-by-play reactions. Feel free to go ahead and just block them yourselves. But, yeah, guys, listen. So I do allow trolls, but only during my live play-by-play reactions. I have shifted my style because trolls coming in here just like yapping about nonsense, like just saying, "Oh, like Josh Allen sucks, dude." Like an uneducated take that's just intended to piss people off. That's now a blockable offense because like you're just ruining the experience for anybody in here that's just trying to talk ball, right? I'm fine with you hating on the Buffalo Bills, but at least appear educated, right? So from now on, like really any sort of juvenile like behavior or like children behavior is going to be blocked. It just is what it is. So I refuse to ruin the quality and the experience for people that are just trying to come in here and talk football. That's what it is, baby. That's what it is. I'm sorry. That or your parents are going to have to start Venmoing me for the babysitting that I provide for them on a regular basis. Okay, thanks. I'm out of the loop for a while. Thank you. No problem at all, man. Maybe a second round pick for Micah Parsons because on Facebook he said he wanted to come to the Bills because we have 2 second round picks. I wouldn't believe everything on Facebook. I started posting some of my TikToks and Reels on Facebook, and some of the Bills content and NFL content I find on Facebook is so ridiculously false. It's it's not even clickbait. Like it is just fucking lying to people. It is like lying to people. Like it is crazy. Be be very careful with getting your football content slash news from Facebook because I'd probably say that's probably the most unreliable source you can find on the internet based off of my short time posting on there. Okay, we have Davis. I am asking an honest question. I am a season ticket holder for the Bills and was asking a question. I don't have to watch the show. Just asking an honest question. I am sorry, my friend. What would you like to ask? Sound off in the chat and I will answer it for you, my friend. I will answer it for you. No question. Is Zach Wilson even better than Skylar Thompson or Snoop Huntley? Time will tell. Time will tell. Yo, Dan, where's our boy Liam? We have Cody Benz. He was just super annoying and he provided like nothing of value to the chat, so I blocked him. And I refuse to babysit him unless I get paid from his parents. So that's about it. And do you think a trade up is possible in the first? I like moving up to 15 with the Falcons. They only have 4 picks and probably could use an extra 2 and 4. So Los Angeles limited. I don't want to say that it's not a possibility. Like would Bean do it? Maybe. But here's the deal. Like we don't have a 3rd round pick. And I know that that's keeping Brandon Bean up at night right now. I know that that is bothering him to no end. And he's already trying to conspire on how to get a 3rd round pick. And I think trading up would take him further away from that goal. So I don't know. It just depends on how the board falls if you were to ask me. Then again, I mean, it's hard to predict. Oh, man. It may be an honest question, but it's a dumb question. Bills are an annual bottom feeder without Josh Allen. He is the best quarterback in franchise history. Where is his Andre Reed? And go from that. Okay. And so I was only banding how can we get over KC? It seems like every year we fail. It hurts. What do you think we're missing? Last season seemed different, but obviously we came up short. It's a great question, man. It's a great question. So I will tell you what, that I feel like every team in the AFC is trying to have that answer to, is trying to find that answer, because not many teams in the AFC have had much success at getting past the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, outside of the Cincinnati Bengals that one season. But as far as consistently getting past them, not many teams have an answer, right? So I think one of the biggest things that needs to be addressed is our pass rush. And I feel like that's a cop-out answer. But really what we need is just somebody that can create consistent pressure. We have not had a guy get over 10 sacks or 10 and a half, excuse me, since 2013. Like we need a game wrecker. And one thing I'll give Sean McDermott, he has always gotten the most out of our secondary. And he has always gotten the most out of our linebackers. But one thing that I would probably say is his weakness, and maybe we can even put a little bit of that blame on Brandon Beane as well, is just his inability of being able to select anybody that can make an immediate impact on the defensive line. right? So I think defensive line is really what we need to do so that we can get past this Kansas City Chiefs team, right? Um, and we're closer than you think, right? Like we are closer than you think. Like we hung up 30 points on them 2 times, once in the playoffs, once in the regular season. We won in the regular season, lost in the playoffs. I know. Um, but that defense was not allowing more than like 20 all season. Like they really had it done. Like they really had it figured out. Um, so just get our pass rush to top 10. And I feel like that's how we do it. And stay healthy for the love of God. So I think Josh Palmer was an excellent signing, maybe a draft fast wide receiver in the 4th or the 5th. Do you want one earlier? Wyatt, I do like Josh Palmer. As far as speedy receivers, I would be fine in the 4th if we were able to find a 3rd round pick or trade up for a 3rd round pick. I love Jalen Royals. I like Isaiah Bond. And I also like Matthew Golden. I do like Jaden Higgins as well, but I feel like him and Josh Palmer are very similar. So we will see. We are in a weird predicament with Kyer Elam, but with him turning 23, and do you think there is still room for him to grow? Say with more snap counts, or do we want to let him walk in the near future? I would be really surprised if he was on this roster. If he was on this roster by the time week 1 comes around. I'd be very surprised. But no. I feel like I've given up all hope on Kyer Elam, like really ever being that dude. You know what I mean? And do you like linebacker Jihad Campbell? I do. He's definitely a good prospect, but like I really don't think that we need another linebacker, right? Like we still have Milano, we still have Bernard, and Matt Milano was playing really well when he came back for his last 3 games, I would say. Like he really was back to Matt Milano. And Bernard obviously is fine. And plus we do run nickel, right? Like we run nickel. So we like normally don't have 3 linebackers out there, at least not enough to where I think we need to add yet another linebacker. So I know that a lot of us really like Dorian Williams. So I don't think that us going after a Jihad Campbell would make much sense, not unless like we just kind of wanted them to sit on ice and then next offseason we walk away from Matt Milano. It just depends. But Campbell to me is a player that you draft where you have intentions of starting him almost immediately, right? That's kind of my thought there. Floyd signed with Atlanta. He did. Smitty, what's going on, man? What's going on, Dan? I just had a thought of the Bills potentially signing Stephon Gilmore, bringing an old Bills player to mentor the young guys, and hopefully he still has something left in the tank. He's still been playing at a very high level, and for the past couple of years, he still has it. He still has it, right? Hold up. Sorry about that. I saw a notification from Schefter, and it's not Bills related. Sincerest apologies. So with him would be interesting. He would be cheap. And so I know that I would absolutely love for Asante Samuel Jr. Like we're sitting here like naming all these players we want, like Julian Blackman, like Asante Samuel Jr. But as somebody pointed out earlier in the chat today, there is a pick that I feel like Brandon Beane would make. I'm not sure if it's Stephon Gilmore, but it could be a Josh Johnson or something like that. Something that would probably piss off the vast majority of us. So I think it could happen because that's something I feel like they would do. But I'm hoping it's Asante Samuel Jr. Really hoping that. You would lose $4 million in cap space by cutting Elam. Only way to save anything is to trade him. True. I really hope. I really, really hope that we could somehow send him off for a 7th. Because God knows. I don't know if a team would pay for a 6th for that, right? You know, I mean, it depends. just joining. Is there any news? Unfortunately, no news right now. I want there to be, but it's not making it happen. Will anyone want Elam? LOL. Like, not unless that there's a team that really believes that he would fit well into their system. But if I'm a GM that believes that, say that I'm a GM that wants a corner like that, I'm not sending over more than a 7th round pick, bro. In fact, I'm probably going to try and say, all right, yeah, I'm going to send you over a 2026 7th. If that was me as a GM. We have Dan. And where do you think Elam went wrong? So was he more of a man guy that didn't transition well? Yeah, so I think we hoped that we could draft Kyer Elam and turn him into a zone corner when he was not a zone corner in the first place. And then, like, really, even with his specialty of man coverage, he's super handsy, right? Like, he's always drawing flags all over the place, you know? And I guess he just didn't transition the way that I thought that McDermott and this coaching staff was hoping that he would, essentially. Bills for life. Let's go, Ty Johnson, back on a 2-year deal. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Look at that, folks. Running back Ty Johnson is returning to the Buffalo Bills on a 2-year deal. All right. Hey, folks. Hey, we got it. We got it, baby. Ty Johnson back on the Buffalo Bills. Running back Ty Johnson, a 2-year deal. Per source, Johnson emerged as a versatile 3rd down back for Buffalo. Now gets rewarded. Look at that, folks. I still believe Elam was a panic pick by Bean. I agree with you. The second that Trent McDuffie went off of the second that Trent McDuffie ended up going off of the board, that's why he picked him. Because it made 0 sense. 0. But folks, breaking news. Breaking news, the Buffalo Bills are re-signing running back Ty Johnson to the Buffalo Bills. All right, listen, folks. Bear with me. Because what Dan Mitchell has to do sometimes is I have to make a TikTok. And yes, I just referred to myself in the 3rd person. I'm sorry, I am a giant tool. But I feel like if you've been watching me for long enough, I think you already knew that. But anyway, big stuff right here. Ty Johnson, per Jeremy Fowler. I got to go on ahead and make a TikTok for the people. All right? Don't be surprised, folks. This is Influencers in the Wild. Influencers in the Wild coming on up. Let me see. All right. So, James Cook is fucking heated right now. James is absolutely heated. All right, baby. Some influencers in the wild right here. And don't worry, it's going to be a Ty Johnson take. Bills Mafia, breaking news. A fan favorite, Ty Johnson, is returning to the Buffalo Bills on a 2-year deal. And let me tell you what, had to be one of the best RB3s in the history of the Buffalo Bills franchise. I feel like we all remember that game where sometimes our run game was just not working, whether or not that it was James Cook or Ray Davis. And you hand the ball off to Ty Johnson, and he just made things work. How about that one game where he was the damn leading receiver for us when we had a couple of key injuries in our receiving room? So happy that we were able to bring this guy back. I do have some questions, though. What does this mean for James Cook? Is this the Buffalo Bills sort of going out there and saying, hey, listen, we're going to pay this running back, but just not James Cook? I wonder if this is some sort of like in-office beef, if this is some sort of subliminal message. I don't know the details to it, but solid move from the Buffalo Bills. Sound off in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Damn, baby. I love Ty Johnson. I know. Hey, man, listen, he's locked in. All right, let me edit this real fast. All right, boys, I'm locking this in real fast. Bills sign Ty Johnson. Solid 3rd down back, man. Let's get this going. Bills sign Johnson. Okay. Next. Breaking news. Buffalo Bills Breaking news. I'll just do breaking news. Sorry, guys. I think out loud. I know I'm a weirdo, but come on. Buffalo Bills sign Ty Johnson. Hashtag Buffalo Bills. Hashtag Bills Mafia. Hashtag NFL. Select all. Copy. Let's go ahead and do this. Oh, and look at that. TD Finstock is calling me. Yo. What up? Yeah, most definitely. I'll go ahead and I'll shoot him over an email for you. Yeah, man. No issue whatsoever. Really on that, man. Listen, I will send over the intro and then hopefully I'll be able to connect you too soon. Peace. Sorry, guys. Look at that. It's a stream IRL. 319 of you in here. Smash that like button. Bills usually carry 3 running backs. I don't think this means anything for James Cook. Yeah, you're right. It's funny because it could be like a giant middle finger to him, being like, "Ha, we're bringing him back, not you." It's also funny that we signed 2 running backs today and not James Cook. But still pretty funny. It's probably nothing. Cook knows the system and fits it well. I mean, listen, guys, I'm a massive advocate for James Cook to get and stay a Buffalo Bill for a significant amount of time. And so I really like what he brings to this team. Like, some people are concerned about his lack of pass blocking capabilities, but this offensive line really doesn't call for a running back that can pass block well, right? Like, that's half of the reason why we have a 6th offensive lineman in jumbo packages, Alec Anderson, who is out there so often. Trey Hendrickson needs to come to Buffalo. Please, Brandon Bean. Josh Allen is him. He's trying to manifest it, and I appreciate everything that you're bringing to the table. If we trade Cook, we will need a 3rd down back because we are going to see a lot more of them. People let all this run blocking and snap count, 3rd down nonsense. Forget the goal is not to get to 3rd and long. I like that. Bills could use running backs for trade bait when injuries on other teams happen. We have Amiri. Yes, Cook knows the system, but that was bad on how he expressed his needs. We don't want players to feel like they can go on social media and do all that. Syracuse running back is a good blocker. Dan, they just announced the compensatory pick, and the Bills got 2/5. Damn, baby. Hold on. Some good shit. Some good shit. 2 more 5th round picks. Listen, I have a feeling we're going to be sitting pretty right now in the draft and being able to trade up. Into the 3rd. Chris B. And the NFL has just announced the compensatory picks for the draft. We get 2 5th round picks we expected. Look at that. James Cook's contract value just dropped by 40%, bringing Ty Johnson back. LFG, 2 5ths. Sheesh already. This is big, man. Let's go ahead and knock this out. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a, let me see. Round, hold up. Yep. Buffalo gets 2 additional 5th round picks. You know, this is a good thing because not having a 3rd round pick was keeping Brandon Bean up at night. Damn, baby. We already know what that's about. And yes, I chat GPT my tweets sometimes, folks. I'm a man of profession. Yes, I make fun of myself. You know what I mean? Chat GPT, improve this tweets. All right? Look at that. I use chat GPT to improve my tweets, fool. All right? Sue me. Buffalo just picked up 2. You just know Brandon. There you go. Damn, baby. And someone just LOL'd at it. Hey, listen, man, you know what? Sometimes I expose myself, fool. Buffalo just picked up 2 extra 5th-round picks. You just know Brandon Beane slept a little better last night with that 3rd-round gap haunting him. Solid capital to move up. Beautiful. Look at that, baby. Look at that. I exposed myself. Look at that, folks. Yeah, Dan, can you explain how that works? So basically, with a compensatory pick, like that has to do with any specific trade, right? Or like that has to do with any, like, say, for example, like, so with Stephon Diggs, for example, right? Like we ultimately ended up getting an additional from Minnesota with a compensatory pick. Say, for example, that Stephon Diggs did not stay for the long term. It's a contractual thing that it's attached to a specific player in layman's terms, that if certain metrics are not lived up to, we end up getting some additional draft capital. So just know that we now have a couple of picks. The basic premise is if you lose more free agents than you sign in a given offseason, you get comp picks. Absolutely, baby. Absolutely. Joey Gonzalez, 3-year extension, $36 million, $24 million guaranteed for Cook. Get it done. Earn the rest of your incentives. Let's go, Brandon. Are those picks tradable? That's a great question. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know. So who did we get the picks from? Like those picks had to be with somebody. It's with losing out on free agents. Former Tennessee Titans wide receiver Nick Westbrook is reportedly heading to South Beach. Oh my God. In a nutshell, lose more than you gain, but it's much more complicated than that. Yeah, it's wild stuff. Wait, what just happened, Dan? I missed it. So the compensatory picks ended up being released, and the Buffalo Bills have 2 additional 5th rounds. So we are loaded toward the back half. And the Darrington Evans signing is just filler in case Cook decides to hold out. Nothing more. Interesting. Interesting take there. Come on, man. Don't expose me, fool. Don't expose me, Khalil. Yes, you can trade them, Carly. Oh, man. All right, anyway. All right, guys, what you missed was the Buffalo Bills ultimately ended up bringing back our good friend, Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is a Bill, baby. Ty Johnson's a Bill. He's back. He's locked and loaded. Let me go ahead and put a TikTok out real fast. Or an X post I'm in. Let me see. Bang, bang. XO put. No, we have 12 picks. We have 10 picks plus the 2 compensatory picks. Dan, and do you see the Bills doing some further moves on Wednesday? I hope so, man. Like, we just ended up bringing back Ty Johnson, which is good. We brought in Darrington Evans. I'm not sure if people are that excited about it, but Ty Johnson got hands. He does. Every guy thinks where he goes, he's going to have a Josh Allen and thinks that they can have the same numbers. Absolutely, dude. TD knows it's official. Tua will be replaced by the MILF hunter, Zach Wilson. I mean, I feel like that's pretty much there. I love Puka changing his number so Devontae Adams can wear 17. That's a team player. I love that from Puka. Draft 3 defensive tackles, 2 defensive ends, 1 running back, and 2 corners. Lock it in. Watch Bean move up twice on the first and or the second. I mean, listen, I'm fine with aggressive Bean. You have no idea. I keep refreshing for Asante. Lord, please bless our beloved Bills. Look, I feel like I would be equally excited for Asante Samuel Jr. at the corner position, CB2, and I'd probably be equally excited for Julian Blackman at the safety position as well. That's kind of my thought. I keep refreshing for Asante. Send to LA. Send those to LA for Cooper Kupp. Cody Benz. He wants Coop on the team, huh? Oh, dude, y'all are trolling me, man. Yo, fools, y'all trolling me right now. Y'all sitting here trolling me, man. Okay. I swear if the Chiefs steal from us in the draft another superstar, So I wouldn't even say that, man. Like, you literally look at the statistics between Xavier Worthy and Keon Coleman. Like, they literally had almost identical stats, and Keon Coleman missed 4 games. So I wouldn't say that there's a massive gap that everyone's trying to assume that there is, right? Um, so do I think that Keon's going to be like this next wide receiver number 1? No, but I do think that he's a solid role player. That is a 50-50 ball guy that we didn't have prior to him being in the room in the first place. But I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at right now. Anyway, all right, guys, listen, I love you very much. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to sit back, chill, and enjoy some of the Roundtable Sports episodes. We are actually back this week for every single divisional show as they unpack free agency. So if, for example, you are not a Bills fan or you are just a random fan that likes hanging out with me on a regular basis, I highly recommend you go tune into the AFC South Roundtable and the NFC South Roundtable, which I believe is starting in about 20 minutes. And then also go check in on the NFC West Roundtable later this evening as well at 9 p.m. EST. Great shows over there. We love everything. And yeah, I love you guys. I would not be here without you. Thank you so much for always tuning in and rocking with me when you can. And I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace.